Welcome back. This is the Intel on ENCA. Before we move on to our next conversation, let me tell you at the top of the hour, I'll be joined by the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer of the IEC, Mawetu Mosari. We'll be really doing a final check, right, to just check if, all the I's are dotted and all the T's crossed ahead of tomorrow, the opening of polls tomorrow. Mawetu Mosari will be reflecting, telling me exactly where the ballot papers are, where the various marquees that will be used as voting districts, etc., PPE, all of those matters will be settled in that conversation. But for now, let's get to this. Political parties are making their last push ahead of the 2021 municipal elections, which will happen tomorrow. For analysis on this, I'm joined now by Sbu Zigode of the organization Abahlali Basemjondolo. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Zigode. Let me start with something that's just hot off the press, really, coming out from Ipsos in collaboration with ENCA. Their latest poll, they've done 3 waves of polling in the last few weeks and last few months. Their latest that they've released says in recent pre-election surveys, support for the ANC has been measured consistently below 50%, which they then describe as a phenomenon not seen commonly before. What do you make of that?
Well, Thulasizwe and viewers at home, that is not surprising. It is our prayer, it is our struggle every day that those who have held that in ransom, it's the time that they be punished, because you would understand that it is now time to reward those who have done pretty well, but also it's time to punish those who have consistently evicted Abahlali, those who have consistently attacked our hard-won democracy, those who have actually reversed the gains of our democratic dispensation. So that is not surprising. The ruling party, the African National Congress, has not just been not doing what it's supposed to do, but it went on to actually attack and even murder those whom they're supposed to be governed. So it is really interesting to see that South Africans are beginning to realize that it cannot be business as usual, that we can no longer allow rogues and mafias and gangsters to carry on, vandalize our lives.
Yeah, but interestingly though, Mr. Zigode, part of what comes out from that latest survey and the release from Ipsos, that ENCA survey, also shows that about 25.5% of registered voters could not really choose a political party that they want to vote for. And this despite being interviewed at least 3 times in what the pollsters describe as wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. And that phenomenon didn't change. So it would seem for at least a quarter of the electorate, there's simply no viable choice out there. And I can ask you what you make of that, because in light of what you just said now, you previously as an organization have been very vocal and have not shied away from endorsing a political party when you felt that that party deserved to be endorsed.
Yes, which is why we continuously educating our communities that it is high time that we seek for an alternative, that we make it clear that people should go out in their numbers to vote. That what is actually what Abahlali is currently doing to encourage our communities to say that if they really want to change, it is time that they go and vote out the ANC. We have not collectively decided on the party, but we are encouraging our members to make sure that they vote against the ANC. That is the only prayer that we have. As long as the ANC has been set aside, anything else will fall into place. We don't believe that all South Africans are corrupt. At the same time, we do not believe that everyone within the ANC is corrupt, but it is time for South Africans to really rethink our democracy. It's time that we defend our democracy. And those that have not really made their mind, we urge them to make sure that they vote against the ANC. That is the only message that we are saying, because voting the ANC is like digging your own grave. We have lost activists, we have lost members. We've been having our members being arrested for the crime that they have not done. So a party like that, a state like that, needs to be removed, and we have no other choice.
Just give me your sense of what will be the issues that will be the decider in this election, Mr. Zigote, particularly from an organization such as yours that represents the urban poor in many localities. So just what are the main issues? Ipsos tells us that actually among the key issues is the issue of safety and security that is ranked highly, and then comes affordable services. But I wonder if it tallies with your experiences since the last election was held.
Well, the deciding issue would be the question of land. If there are any party that is serious about making sure that the land is restored back to the people who have been dispossessed of their land, particularly those who remain landless and homeless, 26 years of our democracy. And for us, that is very important. But the second one would be a party that actually takes seriously the issues of service delivery, but at the same time that is able to acknowledge the intelligence and the thinking of the people on the ground. We want a party that would engage communities genuinely, the party that would listen carefully to what the people's needs on the ground, that is not arrogant, that will engage and support democracy from below. Those who are organizing, on the ground ought to be respected. And we think that that's very key. But also making sure that the corruption that has stolen from the poor, especially those who are homeless, is dealt with. So that's the kind of government that will require, where there will be clean governance, but also making sure that communities are taken seriously, not just only in the shacks in Durban, in urban centers, but also in rural areas. People continue to live without water. It's great. It is an insult. It's not what we fought for. It's not what the democracy that was promised.
Yeah. Zigote, let's pause there for a moment and take a quick break. In the next few minutes, we'll be joined in this conversation by political commentator Jan Joubert, who will weigh in on some of these issues we've been discussing. This is the Intel on ENCA.